Starting our discussion with user-defined data types, let us first learn the first user-defined data type, that is structures. We often come across situations where we need to store a group of data, whether of similar data types or of non-similar data types. Now, we have seen arrays in C which are used to store set of data of similar data type at continuous memory locations. But unlike arrays, structures in C are user-defined data types which are used to store group of items of non-similar data types. In this lesson, we would be learning why structures in C, what is a structure, how to access members of structure, and keyword typedef. So why structures in C? Let's say we need to store some information about a person. Now this would be a collection of all related information under a single name is the main purpose of structure. Keeping in this mind, let us discuss few basic concepts. Let's say we need to store some information of person like name, city, age, and so on. So we can create three different variables named name, city, age, and so on for a single person to store this information separately. Now let's say in future we want to store information about multiple person. Now you would have to create different variables for each person, that is name 1, city 1, age 1 variables for person 1. For second person, the variables would be named as name 2, city 2, age 2, and so on. You can easily visualize how big and messy the code would be. Also, no relation between the variables would exist. It's going to be a daunting task. So better approach will be to have a collection of all related information under a single name person. We would create a template for a person and use this template for every other person. Now you can imagine the code would look much cleaner, readable, and efficient as well. So the collection of all related information is stored under a single name of structure. Now how to declare a structure? As we saw, structure is a collection of variables under a single name. Defining a structure can be done as a struct keyword followed with a structure name. Now within the curly braces, we specify the data members. The data member can be specified by the data type and the member variable name, followed by a semicolon. This defines our first data member. The next data member can be defined similarly by specifying the data type and the variable name. Now this becomes a template of a structure. If we need to create a variable that is an object of this structure, it can be done by using a struct keyword followed with structure name and then the variable name. Try to recall how do we declare variables. We declare by data type and a variable name, that is, let's say int a. So here struct and structure name combinedly works as a data type and it becomes a user-defined data type, that is struct, structure name, and variable name. So this acts as a data type and this acts as a variable. Let us see an example. Here we have defined a structure employee which contains employee ID of type int, character array which can be defined as char name of 10 elements, and a floating point number salary. Here there's another method to create objects of structure just by writing the variable name followed by a semicolon. So this creates one object named emp. Now let's see how the memory is allocated to this structure. The ID is of integer type, so it needs 4 bytes. So the first 4 bytes are allocated to int ID. Now the character array has 10 elements. Each character gets 1 byte of memory. So the next 10 bytes are allocated to character array. And comes the float salary, which also occupies the next 4 bytes. So if we calculate size of employee, it would give 4 plus 10 plus 4, that is 18 bytes. Now how to access members of structure? There are two types of operator used to access members of a structure. First is the member operator and second is the structure pointer operator. Here we would be discussing about member operators because structure pointer operator we would discuss in the coming section. Let's say we have one data member and we have created a variable name of a structure. So a specific data member can be accessed by using the variable name, that is the object name of the structure, dot that data member name. Now comes the keyword typedef. As we have seen during a structure declaration, let's say we have a structure distance which contains int feet, float inch as two data members. Now in the main function, we create a variable of structure by using struct keyword, structure name, and d1 as the variable name. Now instead of using struct distance, if I need to give another name for my structure, I can do that by using typedef. So just add the keyword typedef before structure and the structure name, followed by a name that you would like to give to your structure. So instead of using struct distance while initializing an object, we just need to write the new name given to our structure, that is distances d1. Typedef is nothing but it gives another name to user-defined data types. Let's have a quick recap. A structure is considered as a collection of variables under a single name, where the variables are of non-similar type. There are two types of operators used for accessing member of the structure: a member operator and a structure pointer operator. Next, we would be doing an assignment where we would be creating an employee database, scanning the data and printing the data.